The greatest moment at Colt Stadium took place on April 10, 1962. In the 1950s, a group called the Houston Sports Association joined forces with eventual owners from different cities and announced a formation of a third league for Major League Baseball that would be called the Continental League, which would be consisted of entirely new teams and compete with both the American and National League. This idea would eventually fold, but it did pave the way for expansion ball clubs in both the American and National League, and in the early 60s, the state of Texas was awarded its first Major League franchise, which would be the Houston Colt 45s, named after the gun that won the West. Because of the sweltering summer heat, the team's front office agreed to build a domed stadium to play in, which would open in 1965, and as a temporary venue, Houston would play their first 3 seasons in the much smaller Colt Stadium. The historic debut of Major League Baseball in the Lone Star State came when the Colt 45s opened the 1962 season at home against the Chicago Cubs, and Texas was ready. A crowd of 25,271 flocked to Colt Stadium to see the inaugural game, and the team would not disappoint. Starting for Houston was Bobby Shantz, a former National League MVP who had some big years with the Philadelphia Athletics. Shantz started the game off by striking out future Hall of Famer Lou Brock and threw a scoreless first. Then in the bottom half, the first batter in Colt 45's history, Bob Aspromonte, would ground a single into left field. Then Al Spangler would line a triple to right to score Aspromonte to give Houston a 1-0 lead. The score would remain the same until the bottom of the third, when Roman Mejias came to the plate with 2 on and nobody out. Mejias skied the ball to left center, where it would clear the fence for the first homer in franchise history and give the Colt 45s a 4-0 lead. 2 outs later, Hal Smith would add to the lead with a solo homer and make the score 5-0. For the next 3 innings, Shantz held the Cubs at bay, and after they scored a run in the top of the 7th, Houston would blow the game open in the bottom half. Norm Larker came up with 2 on and no one out and blooped a single into right to make the score 6-0, and Jim Pendleton would get an infield single to drive in another run. After a double play, Joe Amalfitano came to the plate and got an infield hit to score Larker and make the score 8-0, which was more than enough runs for Shantz, who would go all 9 innings for the win as the Colt 45s defeated the Cubs 11-2. Houston went on to sweep the Cubs to start the season 3-0 and finish the year with 64 wins. Then in 1965, they changed their name to the Astros and moved into the Astrodome, the first indoor stadium in Major League Baseball, which would be known as the 8th wonder of the world. The Astros would have many memorable players in their new park and would also host 2 All-Star games and win 5 division titles.